Hi guys, it's Angie and I am back with another FlossTube video. I think this makes 2 in January. I can't remember if my last video was published at the end of the year or at the beginning of the new year, my whip parade video, so we'll call this 2 for January because this is my second update since the new year started. First, welcome back to everybody who is a subscriber. I'm happy to have you back. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome to my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy what you see here. It's really low key, and I mean, it's just me enjoying a hobby that I have. Let's see, what have I got to say? I've got a lot to share. Surprising, I have quite a bit to share actually, as far as progress, because it was the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon last weekend, which kind of hit me by surprise. I didn't realize that that was coming up until I saw all the posts on Facebook about it, and then I thought, well, I can't not participate because I have the time this weekend. So I have some progress for that. And so I guess, let's see, I have nothing new to share, although I did participate in Friday Night Fight Night with Be Stitch Me on Facebook, and I got 3 pieces of fabric. Yay, but they're not here yet. So when they get here, I will share them. Hopefully when they get here, I will also have a pattern or 2 that's new, whether it's something off of Etsy or if I get a chance to go to my local needle workshop and pick up a couple that I kind of really want. And maybe some silks, but more on that later. All right, so I have a pile of stuff to get through to show you guys, and I want to do it somewhat quickly so that this isn't a terribly long video. First, I am a member. If you are new to my channel, I'm a member of a few Facebook cross stitch groups, but I am actively participating in 2. I actively participate in Magical Stitches, which I think right now is closed. I think this year they're trying a set number of people working on a certain thing, just because if there's a lot of people coming and going or not participating, it can get kind of to be a hassle. I'm not sure though, so don't quote me on that, but I want to say I think this year it's closed. I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm saying. But I'm also, so I'm a member of Magical Stitches, which I am really good at actively participating in, except the last 4 months of last year when I was doing school and I was super stressed out and I didn't do a single stitch on a single project for 4 months. I felt really bad about that because I really love Magical Stitches. But I'm also a member of Semi-Sane Stitches. And if you guys have not, sorry, I had a bubble in my throat. If you guys have never been a part of a Facebook cross stitch group, obviously it's completely up to you and how you like to stitch. But for me, I know that if I'm stitching on something, I can get kind of bored. And so the groups usually will come up with what we call prompts, or something that will encourage you to stitch on something. So like one year we were doing fairy tale books for Magical Stitches. We were reading fairy tale books, and then each week we'd have prompts that kind of related to what we were reading at the time. Like, oh, the evil wicked witch, stitch on something that has an apple. And so you'd go through all your whips and you'd try to find a fun way to, oh, well, this has an apple, or this has a tree, it could be an apple tree, or hey, this person's drinking juice, maybe it's apple juice. And it's a fun way to kind of help you get stitches here and there on projects maybe you don't work on as often. That's fun for me. It keeps it exciting and it keeps it interesting. And the same with Semi-Sane Stitching. Semi-Sane Stitchers will have a bunch of different games and things throughout the year that you will put a certain amount of numbers on a project, and it's just fun, and it helps keep it exciting so I don't get too bored and I get a lot of progress done. So that being said, for January, it was released at the very beginning of January what the focus for each week of the month was going to be. And so for week number 1 in January, it was the your newest whip. So work in progress whip. the newest one that you've started. And that for me was the Cryptid Stitch Along, which I shared with you on one of the last videos. However, I did add a little bit more to it, so I wanted to share that so you could see what else has happened with my Cryptid SAL. I'm very, very, very far behind. And if you remember how good I was at keeping up on Dark Queen of the Sea, I am super far behind on this because I started it during the whole stressful school phase of last semester. But here is where I'm at right now with my Cryptid SAL. I just finished up the box. There's a couple little like floating black dots throughout here, but I'm probably not going to add those because first of all, I hate doing single stitches like snowflakes and stuff. It bugs me. It feels bulky, so I'm probably just gonna leave it like this. So both Mothman and Nightcrawler are finished, and I just need to pull up the next part and start working on it. And I also have a bunch of the frame to do. So that's where I'm at with my Cryptid SAL. That one, I love cryptid things, so I thought this would be a no-brainer, easy and fun for me to jump in and work on. And apparently it's a little bit harder than I thought. Part of it is because it's a lot of black. It's a lot of black stitching, and it's a little complicated because the patterns, but it's still fun. I mean, when I'm stitching it, I'm enjoying myself. So that was my newest whip. Week number 2, I needed to work on my oldest whip. And if you have been with my channel for a while, I hope I have it down here, because if I don't, I'm gonna have to make I do. If you've been with my channel a while, you'll recognize this pattern. This one is Northern Night. I will go ahead and show you where I'm at with this. Here's where I'm at. Northern Night, I have a love-hate relationship with. There's a whole explanation on a video from, I think, early 2020, maybe? A whole explanation on why I have a love-hate relationship with this whip. However, as I was stitching on it this last time, I got right here, I just need to finish this little grouping right here, and then I am officially halfway done with this pattern. And on the other side, this is the part that took the longest. On the other side, we've got a couple trees, we've got a lot of sky and a lot of water. And the fun thing about most of the water and the sky is it's all half stitches, which that's just wonderful for me. So anyway, this is what I worked on for my oldest whip, and it's looking really pretty. Oh, but you guys, there's so much back stitching I'm gonna have to do on this. I don't know when this will ever get finished. I should just focus on it and get it done so that it's out of my hair. Then last week I was to work on my most colorful whip, which I thought was gonna be Middle Earth, because Middle Earth is huge and it has a lot of colors. They're all similar color, but they're all different. But I was wrong, that one only has like 30 something colors. And since I gave up on, sort of gave up, I put Magic Study away for a while. Magic Study would have won, hands down. But my mini Sasquatch by David Bartholet from Hade, from Heaven and Earth Designs, has 93 colors, so it is my most colorful whip. So I pulled out mini Sasquatch and I did a bunch of work over here on his arm. Doesn't look like his arm because you can't tell that it's his arm yet, but that's the back of his arm. And I think I am this close to being 30% done with him, so I want to get some more work done on him. So that is where I'm at with that. And then this week, I think this week, yes, this week, I'm supposed to be working on Middle Earth because I'm supposed to work on the project of mine that has the most stitches in it. And Middle Earth, even though I'm almost 30% done with this, it's a much smaller pattern than Middle Earth. And Middle Earth, I'm, I think, at 25%, and I've got over 20,000 stitches in it. So, in fact, Do you know what? I can probably tell you because I've got my stuff down here. I forgot that I had it down here. That was loud. Okay, let's see. So for Middle Earth, I have, oh, I said I probably have 20,000 stitches done on it. That's so funny. I have 187,500 stitches done on Middle Earth, and I am, I'm 16% done. See what I did there? I didn't know my stats for that one at all. I'm only 16% done. That's kind of disappointing, actually. I thought I was a lot farther on that. I am 27% done on Sasquatch with 27,000 stitches in it. So Middle Earth wins, hands down. So that's the one I need to put some effort into this week. Okay, so then we had 24 hours of cross stitch. And just ahead of everything I'm going to tell you, I did 3,400 stitches throughout the weekend. I did not hit 24 hours, but I came, I don't know how, let's see. I did about 16 hours. I would have liked to have done more, but you know, life, my husband was on a trip, and so I had a lot of things that I had to take care of, you know, running kids to work, to and from, and to the mall, and all sorts of things, and so I just didn't have as much time as I would have liked. But what I decided to do for 24 hours of cross stitch this time around was I was going to pull out a bunch of projects I have not done any work on in a while, and I was going to put 2 hours per project. And then after the ones that I initially, because I have a lot of projects that I haven't worked on, like Sherlock, and I have a fairy tale stitch along that's way old. But I like to use those for prompts, and so I didn't pull those to work on. But I did pull out some others that I have not touched in a very long time and gave them each 2 hours. So first, I'm not really gonna go in any order. I'm just gonna go in whichever bag I can pick up. First, well, this isn't first, but I worked on Liberty's Welcome. And I'm trying to remember which side's up. I think this side's up. And this is on 32 count Platinum Lugana. This is Liberty's Welcome, and this is where I'm at. It doesn't look like a whole lot of progress. I finished this triangle, started these ones, and did these ones, and then I started some work on the inside of this flag, or the flower. I didn't finish these because this is the page break, so I was working on trying to finish this page. I think there's a few more things down here, and then I need to go photocopy the rest of the pages because I don't have them copied. I have, yeah, I have a bunch. The page goes down to like here, and then that'll be the first page break, but this is the edge of the first page on that side. But I don't know, every time I look at this, I just love this flower. Doesn't that flower look so pretty? I don't know, something about the colors and the way it's outlined, and when you stand back, it just kind of pops. I really like that. So I was really happy that I pulled this out because, I don't know, sometimes if you don't stitch on something, you forget how much you enjoy it while you're stitching on it. So that was Liberty's Welcome. That got 383 stitches in the 2 hours that I worked on it. All right, I worked on Away We Ride, which anybody who will remember knows how much I adore this pattern, and I loved stitching on it when I started it, and I just haven't done much with it. I'm trying to make it so it's easier to see just the spots that I worked on. That's stupid. I'll do it like this. Here we go. So here is, let me see if you can see it, Away We Ride. I put, where is it, 545 stitches, working mostly on the tree, the raven, and the little sun, and some of the border under the house. And that one was also fun to work on. There's still a lot more to go in Away We Ride. So I got those done. All right, much like 13 colonies, this one is somewhat close to a finish, and it had a mistake, and so I kind of stopped working on it because in order to continue, I had to figure out what the mistake was. So this is Ornate Halloween Sampler. It's just a really small pattern from Etsy. It's over halfway done. If you'll remember, the last time you saw it, I had only done about this part of the pumpkin, and I just started over here, which is when I found my mistake. My mistake was this part of the pumpkin right here is supposed to be one space away from this moon. And the way it was stitching up is that space was going to be right up against the moon. There wouldn't have been a space between. And so I went through and I spent probably 45 minutes counting everything that I had stitched. I counted here, I counted all of this, trying to find where the mistake was. Why wasn't this lining up? Everything was counting out accurately, but this still wasn't lining up. So what I did is I frogged the entire pumpkin, and I frogged this whole inner line and this whole inner line just in case. And I restitched all of it, and the line met up just fine. And then instead of starting, because originally I'd started with the stem, I started over here where it was supposed to line up, and I stitched it all, and I'd left like 2 little swirlies of the stem, and everything lined up. So I still don't know where my mistake was. It was somewhere up in here, even though everything was counting right. I don't know, it lines up now, it works now. And so I have just the rest. I've got the face of the jack-o'-lantern to finish. This whole side is done. I just have to put this part down here. This whole side is done. This just has to go here. And then I just have to do this and this right here and here, and then this whole pattern's done. So, I mean, it's a close to being done. I could probably spend one day on this and have it finished. The problem is I'm using these DMC sparkly light effects things. That's what it came for. And you use 1 strand of that with 1 strand of this orange, and that's how you stitch the border. This DMC crud is horrible to stitch with. I hate it. I think I remember wanting to use treasure braid, but I couldn't find a color comparable. I should have looked harder, or just found a different color that, yeah, because I don't like using that, and it makes my stitches look terrible. But so in the 2 hours of frogging and everything, I got 278 stitches on that. So not bad. And did I tell you how many I think I did for away? All right, I pulled out Seeds of Freedom, which this is what it will look like when it's done. I bought this because there were so many words on it, not realizing that each of these pictures was gonna take quite a bit of stitching. And I discovered that because when I first started this, well, I'm putting up before pictures, so you'll see. This took me 2 hours to stitch. 2 hours and about 20 minutes, actually. I went overtime on this, but I wanted to finish this whole motif. So I did, and then I've got all these words that I want to work on before I get to the flag that's over here. I mean, it's farther over, but you saw the picture. Anyway, so this is where I'm at now, and I think it's really pretty, but I remember now, I don't know what it is, but some projects are really fun to stitch while you're stitching somehow, maybe because they're not too complicated, the counting is not complicated. This got really complicated around the wheels. The wheels were really frustrating. There was a lot that I had to frog because I'd gone one space weird, or yeah, it was not as enjoyable as, say, some of the other projects that I've worked on. But I actually put 643 stitches in that. It doesn't look like that much. It looks like a small little thing, but nope, there's a lot of little stitches in that. So that is what I did for seeds. goodness, sorry. It's not zipping shut, it's catching the paper, which I've never had that problem with one of these bags. It's never caught the paper before. Okay, Seeds of Freedom, Away We Ride, Ornate Liberty. Okay, I pulled out Avatar Alphabet. And here is where I'm at with Avatar Alphabet. I have the Fire Lord here. He is letter O because, forgive me you guys, I do love this show, but sometimes names escape me. I'm pretty sure it's Fire Lord Ozai, and his father was Sozin. Maybe. Anyway, Fire Lord Ozai. He's for letter O, and then next will be letter P. I'm gonna probably work on that this weekend after Middle Earth. P on the pattern is supposed to be for Pipsqueak, who is a member of Jet's gang, but I don't care about that character. He's like in 2 episodes. It's not a big deal. So I'm actually going to replace it with Azula, who is not on the pattern because her name starts with A, and obviously Aang is for letter A. I'm actually gonna put her in as Princess Azula because she is technically kind of the princess. And she's not on the pattern, and Azula is like the main, there's 3 main baddies for most of the series, and that would be Zuko, Azula, and this dude. And Azula ends up being kind of like a pretty big baddie, and so you want to represent her on your pattern, but she's not on there, so I'm putting her on there. They've got her mother, who is like, her mother is an important part of the story, but not in the actual, you don't see very much of the mother, and so I don't care if the mother is on the pattern, but I do care if Azula is. So Azula will be for the letter P. I just have to adjust the mother's pattern to match Azula, and so that's going to take a little charting, but that got 872 stitches. And then I worked on Garden Prelude, and I've worked on Garden Prelude since. In fact, I was working on it all morning this morning, so I have I put in, over the weekend of 24 hours of cross stitch, I put in 722 stitches, but then I also put another 1,000 in yesterday and today. So here is where I'm at with Garden Prelude. As you'll see, I pretty much just did this area. She's looking so pretty. So here's where we're at. Look at that dress. Look at how good that looks. I love this. I can't stop saying how glad I am that I went through and adjusted the colors so that there was more of a contrast. Works so much better. I wish that there had been something that was a little less brown, but you know what? These were the colors that I had on hand, and so these were the colors that worked. And that's fine, and it works, and it's pretty. So I was gonna work on this some more today, but I might put it away now and give some love to something else, because some of these other ones could use some love. After that, I decided I didn't want to work on anything that I'd already started because I wanted to start something new, so I did. And so I pulled out Raven Queen. I have had Raven Queen kitted up for forever, and so I decided I needed to give her a start. So this is my start. It's nothing fancy yet, but this right here, this kind of grayish blue color here, those are Caron Water Lily silks. I've never stitched with silk before. It's a very, very lovely feeling as you're stitching, and this really silky smooth silk thread just glides through the fabric. Oh, it's like butter. That's the only way I can describe it. And so now that makes me want to, I've got the Long Dog Sampler Pandemic, and I really, really want to choose two contrasting colors that work really well together to stitch the whole thing in. And now I feel like I want to do that with silk, just for the fun of it. It will take a lot of silk. That's a huge pattern. So now I have to come up with a color scheme I like. And that's easier said than done. But anyway, that is Raven Queen. I haven't actually counted the stitches on that yet. I think I'm probably around 70 maybe for that. So anyway, but that is, oh, I just dropped a needle in my lap and I'm curious where it came from. I'm guessing it came from Avatar, because every single one of these projects had a needle in it. I'm gonna have to double check though, just in case, because I hope I didn't lose more needles. Anyway, there we go. So that's what I worked on. So that was my update or progress on my whips, which is great. I put a lot of progress in, and I've got kind of a free weekend. My classes for college started last week. Right now I'm only taking one. My next two classes will start on the 1st. So I'm taking US history, and that one has already started, and I'm already ahead of the game. I'm reading ahead on chapters, and I'm forcing myself to do my reading so that I'm 1 to 2 chapters ahead. And then, so for example, we just started working chapter 2, so I'm reading chapter 3 tomorrow, and then I'm going to read chapter 4 on Monday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I want to be ahead, and as long as I stay ahead, then that gives me permission later on to sit and stitch, because I've already done all the work that needs to be done. I have a film appreciation class. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but I guess we'll be watching films and discussing movies and things, which I'm down for that. And then I have an intro to communication class. These are all electives that I will be required to take if I get into the vet tech program, which I can't apply for until April. And so my advisor said, well, take those now, and that way they're off your plate. And then after that, everything will just be vet classes if I get accepted, which, crossing fingers. My anatomy and physiology professor from last semester really, really wants me to apply. So that's a good sign, I think. Anyway, so there's that. So I have school going on, but it's a much lighter load. I do not feel stressed at all. I think it'll be great. And just, normal life stuff. I do have to find a job though. I have to work in a vet clinic. So I'm looking right now. It's kind of hard. I haven't had a job in over 18 years. So, at least not one that pays. So that's gonna be tough. We'll see how I can make that happen. Also, I completed, for those of you who know, I'm a fan of quite a few different things, Lord of the Rings being one of them, and just like with Nightmare Before Christmas and Stranger Things, I collect some of the Funko Pop characters, and I finally have my full fellowship. So I'm going to put a picture right here of my fellowship. It just makes me smile. And so now I need to work on completing the Stranger Things gang. So I have Steve, and I have 11, and I have Dustin. So I need to get the rest of them. I need to get Hopper, and you guys, names, my brain's not working. Anyway, but I've got my fellowship, so that made me happy. All right, I'm gonna end this video. It's just under 30 minutes, so I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I will update you again soon. So, bye.